Have you ever felt busy but not productive? Connected but not truly in touch? Available to everyone, for everything, and yet somehow completely unavailable to yourself? You say yes when you mean no. You scroll through lives while forgetting to live your own. You are constantly responding, reacting, and reaching like a dancer who never leaves the stage, perpetually performing for an audience you can't even see. What if I told you that the secret to a profound change, a shift in your very reality, lies not in adding another thing to your to-do list, but in a radical act of subtraction? What if it lies in the simple, yet utterly transformative, decision to stop being so available? This isn't my idea. It's a whisper from the depths of a wonderful way of seeing the world, known as Allan's philosophy. And today, we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to listen. We're going to let it sink in. Because when you truly stop being available, everything changes. 1. Stop being available to the opinion audience. Let's start with the most exhausting performance of all, the one we put on for other people. From a moment we wake up, we are curating. We choose the photo that says, "I'm happy." We craft the response that says, "I'm competent." We wear the mask that says, "I have it all together." We are desperately, perpetually available to the opinions of others. Allan's philosophy asks us a startling question. What if you close the theater? What if you stop being available for this performance? Imagine your mind as a clear, still pond. Every opinion, every criticism, every compliment is like a pebble thrown into the water. When you are constantly available, your pond is in a state of perpetual ripples. There is no clarity, only disturbance. You are trying to smooth out the waves caused by one pebble when another's already on its way. Now, imagine withdrawing that availability. It doesn't mean you become rude or cold. It means you stop giving every passing pebble the power to dictate the state of your entire being. You realize that the opinion is just a sound, a vibration in the air. It's a pattern. And like all patterns, it arises and it falls away. When you do this, a miraculous thing happens. The pond begins to settle. The sediment of anxiety and self-doubt sinks to the bottom. And for the first time, you can see your own reflection clearly. You are no longer a distorted image made of ripples. You begin to see who you are when no one is watching. This is a first great change. The energy you once spent on managing perceptions, on maintaining the mask, is suddenly returned to you. It's like a tax refund for your soul. That energy is now yours. To create, to explore, to simply be. The weight of the invisible audience lifts and you feel lighter. You stand up straight not because you think someone is looking, but because your spine is finally free to find its own natural alignment. 2. Stop being available to the tyranny of time. We live in a world obsessed with the clock. We are available to its every tick. We see time as a stern schoolmaster, a limited resource we are constantly wasting, a river we are desperately trying to swim against. We are so busy saving time, we forget to live it. Allan's philosophy offers a different view. What if time isn't a linear river, but more of an ocean? And what if you, in your frantic swimming, are like a wave desperately trying to get to the front of the ocean, not realizing that you are the ocean? Stop being available to the tyranny of the clock. This doesn't mean abandoning your schedule. It means changing your relationship with it. It means seeing that you are not moving through time. You are an expression of time. The flower blooms in its own season, not because it checks a calendar, but because that is its nature. When you stop treating time as an enemy to be beaten, you start to participate in it. You move from being a frantic swimmer to being the water itself. This is what's called the wisdom of insecurity. It's the understanding that life is inherently fleeting, and that is precisely what makes it precious. Trying to hold on to a moment is like trying to grasp water in your fist. The tighter you cling, the more it slips away. But when you relax your grip, when you stop being so available to the anxiety of the future and the regrets of the past, you fall into the present moment. And the present moment is the only place where life actually happens. It is eternally new, eternally fresh. When this change occurs, procrastination loses its power. You're no longer saving up life for a later that never comes. You do things not because you have to, but because the doing is the point. You work like a dancer dances, not to get to the end of the song, but for the joy of the movement itself. You discover that there is, in fact, all the time in the world, because you are no longer fighting with it. You are dancing with it. 3. Stop being available to your own chattering mind. This is the most intimate availability, and perhaps the most draining. We are constantly available to the voice in our own heads, the commentator, the worrier, the critic. It narrates our lives, judges our actions, replays old movies, and writes terrifying scripts of future. We believe we are this voice. But Alan Watts' philosophy invites us to play a little game. What if you are not the speaker, but the one who hears the speaker? Think of it this way. Can you hear a sound? Of course. Now, can you hear yourself hearing? It's a curious thing. You become aware of the awareness itself. That awareness, that silent, spacious consciousness behind the thoughts, that is the real you. The thoughts are just clouds passing to the vast, open sky of your awareness. To stop being available to the chattering mind is to stop confusing the weather with the sky. It is to stop buying every ticket the thought train offers. You can listen to the thoughts, the worry, the plan, the memory without getting on board. You can say, yes, there's a thought about being late. How interesting. You observe it without being enslaved by it. This is the ultimate change. This is where true freedom lives. When internal chatter loses its grip, a profound silence emerges. Not an empty silence, but a vibrant, alive silence. It's the silence out of which all creative thoughts arise, the stillness that gives birth to dance. In this space, problems transform. They are no longer monsters hiding under bed, but simply situations like rocks and stream. The water doesn't panic about the rock. It simply flows around it. When you are no longer available for the panic, you can simply flow. You respond to life from a place of clarity, not from a place of reaction. 4. Stop being available to the need for a different now. We come now to the most subtle and perhaps the most profound form of availability. It is the constant, quiet background hum of resistance. It is our availability to the idea that this moment, exactly as it is somehow wrong, insufficient, or mistake that needs to be fixed. Think about it. You're stuck in traffic, and you are mentally available for frustration, wishing you were already at your destination. You're feeling a little tired, and you are available for the thought that you shouldn't be, that you need more energy. It's raining on your day off, and you are available for disappointment, as if the universe has personally offended you by not arranging the weather to your specifications. Alan Watts' philosophy shines a light on this constant struggle. We are like a man trying to push the river. He stands in the water, muscles straining, using all his energy to force the water to flow faster. But the river flows on, completely indifferent to his efforts. The man exhausts himself, all because he is available to the futile idea that the river should be different. What does it mean to stop being available to the need for a different now? It does not mean becoming passive or resigning yourself to a miserable fate. It is not approval of the situation. It is a deep, radical acceptance of the isness of things. It is a realization that to argue with reality is a game you will always lose. Because what is, when you stop arguing with the river, you can finally turn around and float. You can feel the current carrying you. You can look at the sky and the trees on the bank. You stop wasting your life force on pushing, and you start using it to navigate, to explore, to experience. This is the secret to what some call going with the flow. But the flow isn't something you go with. It's what you are. You are a part of the river. Your resistance is a temporary whirlpool within it. When you stop being available for that resistance, the whirlpool settles, and you are once again the whole, flowing stream. The change that occurs is nothing short of alchemical. The very thing you were resisting becomes a path. The traffic jam becomes a rare moment of quiet, a space to listen to music or simply to breathe. The rain becomes a beautiful, rhythmic symphony, a reason to cozy up indoors. The feeling of tiredness becomes a message from your body to rest, an invitation to be still. You see, when you are no longer available for the struggle against what is, your perception shifts from that of a critical judge to that of a curious participant. You begin to see that every situation, even the difficult ones, contain their own unique texture, their own lesson, their own strange beauty. The darkness of the soil is not the enemy of the seed. It is the very condition that allows it to grow. This is how you discover the magic in ordinary. This is how you find that you were never truly stuck. You were just pushing the river. When you stop being available to the need for a different now, you fall into harmony with the universe. And in that harmony, you find a power and a peace that no amount of pushing could ever provide. You are finally fully here. Oh, you see, this isn't about becoming unavailable to life. It's about becoming so deeply available to the real, vibrant, present moment that you naturally become unavailable to the ghosts and dramas of the mind. Stop being available to the opinion audience, and you become available to your own authentic voice. Stop being available to the tyranny of time, and you become available to the eternal now. Stop being available to your chattering mind, and you become available to the boundless awareness that you truly are. This is the gentle rebellion of Alan Watts' philosophy. It is a quiet, inner revolution. You don't need to change the world. You simply need to change what you are available for. And when you do that, as if by magic, everything changes. So, take a breath, feel the air in your lungs, and ask yourself, with a sense of curiosity, not pressure, what am I making myself available to in this moment? And what might happen if I, just for a little while, stopped